Planned obsolescence has been around since the dawn of time, when God parted the sand and said,
Hey, you should read this. It's a really good book.
only for God to then part the sea again and say,
You know, that last book, it was all right, but this one is my good book 1S.
And naturally, the businesses of today saw what Jeebus's dad did and thought to themselves, why don't I do that? Planned obsolescence, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, is a business strategy in which products are made intentionally with a limited lifespan to encourage individuals to either have to replace them sooner or think that they have to replace them sooner. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, this only applies to products like smartphones, laptops, smartwatches, earbuds, and headphones, as well as printers. But in reality, it is everything. It is the shirt that I'm wearing. It is the camera I'm recording on. It is the green screen that is riddled with holes and stains. And that's the subject for today's discussion: the worst instances of planned obsolescence. And we'll hit the ground running with one I'm sure you're all familiar with: Microsoft. Not only do they create operating systems that don't work that well, but they also create laptops that don't work that well. And if you're old enough to rent a car now, you probably remember a time back in November 2005 when Microsoft was set to release their Xbox 360. And if you were like me, you asked for it as a Christmas gift. And after waiting a month, which equates to about a year from a child's perspective, you finally got your hands on that legendary console, only to plug it in and realize that shit was not meant to glow red at all, as the Xbox 360 had a 50% fail rate. Thousands were lost in what can only be described as a Thanos snapping level event. And after 5 years of backlash, Microsoft went on to release the Xbox 360S, a slightly upgraded and smaller version of the Xbox 360 that in no way is going to be confused with the later titles that have similar naming conventions that are completely different products. Good work, Bill. Continue to name your console products Xbox, insert letter here. Now, is this Microsoft's worst case of planned obsolescence? Absolutely not. Knock knock, who's there? A Zune and a Surface Pro laptop. However, it is worth mentioning that Microsoft spent $1 billion trying to fix this problem. In fact, the backlash was so bad regarding the Red Ring of Death that one of the most infamous videos at the time was of the US Army taking their Xbox 360 out into the field and performing a death by firing squad. You had to have been there. You really did.
Hey, Xbox, thanks. I hope you could refurbish this shit.
Are you ready to sign up on GoArmy.America?
And with the verdict on Microsoft being in, we can finally move on to the most infamous user of planned obsolescence ever, Apple.
The least amount adapter will be $199, and the Pro stand, $999. And like the Mac Pro, they'll all be available in the fall.
Now, Apple's been leading in planned obsolescence ever since they released the iPhone and the iPod in the exact same time and convinced you that they were different products. But that pales in comparison to the fact that Apple has switched its chargers now 3 times. During a transition from the iPhone 4 to the iPhone 5, they decided, hey guys, guess what? Old chargers that you were stockpiling don't work anymore. Now you're going to be using the nice new Lightning charger. And no, it's not a universal USB, which is practically used to charge everything. This obviously was to build product dependency. Everyone needs a new charger. That means everyone's got to go out and buy a new Apple charger. But now I'm coming to find out they're going to be switching to universal USBs anyway. Bang, 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 click, click, reload, bang, 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 bang. Like, what's next? Are you going to ask that I change the fucking electric outlet on my wall? They are an evil, vile company. But hey, I can text in blue. I guess we can wrap this whole video up with talking about Samsung, a company that makes phones that nobody cares about. If Samsung and this YouTube channel have anything in common, it's the fact that nobody cares about it. As a matter of fact, I honestly debated whether or not Samsung was even worth talking about. And that wraps up today's discussion. Thank you so much for watching, and never forget that the worst case of planned obsolescence is you, for AI will come to replace us all in no time at all. Thanks so much again for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below about any products I might have missed that you feel were worth discussing, and I will see you in the next one.